Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel, and this is your tip of the week. I don't know about you, but I have a lot of scraps that are left over from my projects that I've worked on, and I especially have a lot of scraps left over during the fall and Christmas seasons because I make so many gifts. So I'm going to give you some suggestions on how you can cut these scraps up and what you can use them on. These are 2.5-inch squares, and I used 16 of them to make this pot holder. I love this style of pot holder because they're always so cheery because they have so many different prints and colors on it. So I had some small narrow strips and I took them and cut them up and then stitched them all together. First stitched each row together, then stitched the rows together here. So I went across this way and then down this way. And then I used the method where you wrap your fabric around from the back to bind the edges. So this is what's on the back, and then I have a loop on it. Now this is a pretty quick project to make. Let me show you how I recommend you go about cutting your squares. So here are some scraps that I have. They're strips, and they're not exactly the same size. And what I want to do is cut them either into, I measure this area here, see how big they are, and then I cut them up into the squares of what the size of the strips are, unless you want a specific size. So normally I would cut these in 2.5-inch squares, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to cut them into 3-inch squares. So I've stacked my fabric. Try not to stack more than 4 layers, but I've got just 2 here. So I've pulled this fabric past the 1-inch line here. Then place your ruler on that 1-inch line and take your rotary cutter and cut. Now, if you don't have a rotary cutter, then you can take a pencil and mark the line there and then cut it with your scissors later. Because I want 3-inch squares, I'm now going to move my ruler over to the 3-inch line, okay, and I'm lining up that and then doing my cut. When I'm working with smaller pieces of fabric, I like to use this cutting mat here that is a turntable. Okay, so then to continue cutting, what I would do, the fabric is right where it is, then I would place the ruler, this is the line I'm going to place it on, then do my cut, and then go over 3 inches, do the next cut, and continue doing that all down the strip. Then I recommend you take those squares that you weren't using at that moment and put them in a plastic bag, a little Ziploc bag, and then mark on it the season of the year and then the size of the squares. So when you're ready to do a project, you just go and look for the size of squares that you need. So this one here, you can make pot holders out of, this was probably 4.5-inch squares here. And this is a method I used where I put fabric on the back, brought your fabric front sides together, stitched, then turned it front side out. And again, this one was where I folded the fabric over from the back side. Now I'm going to have a link down below your YouTube screen to so that you can go and click on that link so you can learn how to do 5 different easy pot holders. I purchased this from Walmart in their housewares department, and what it is, it's a whole set of 2 different pot holders, an oven mitt, and 2 kitchen towels. Now I thought that this was a great gift idea to embellish, to give as a Christmas present. But then as I looked at it, you can make 5 different Christmas presents out of this. So you could break up the set. You give a pot holder to 2 different people, the oven mitt, and then a towel to 2 different people. So let me give you some suggestions on how you can embellish these. This is a pot holder that I purchased a while back, and I cut a flower out, and I cut it out in a circular pattern. Now I could have cut right around the flower and then did decorative stitching, but that was a lot of work, and I really wanted to do something simple. So you could cut a shape out and cut a specific piece out of the fabric to use as an embellishment. So this could work on everything there. The only problem you would have on the oven mitt is that you would have to do a hand blanket stitch, which is not difficult to do. So those of you who like to do hand sewing, I recommend you do the blanket stitch. Now I know this isn't a Christmas pot holder, but it's just used as an example to show you what you could do. I cut a square out. This was pre-printed on the fabric. So again, you could cut something out of your fabric and then stitch it in on top of the pot holder. You could just fold the edges under of the square or cut it out in a circle and then do a decorative stitch around the edges. Or you could use this star pattern and do a Christmas star. Pick out some fabric that you feel is appropriate, and this one I did a satin stitch around the edge. This little Christmas wreath is a really easy pattern to draw. I know many of you tell me you're nervous about drawing anything, but if you follow the method that I give you, it's really easy. And I'm not an artist, so I don't draw very well. But this was all made out of circles. And you could make this any size. So you could make it small enough to go on your towels and also put it on the pot holders. Here are some other things that's large print that you could cut out. Now I wouldn't cut all the way around this, that would be too difficult to stitch. But again, you could cut it in an oval or a round or rectangle. Here is another one that would look really nice in a circular pattern. This is some fabric that I bought from Joann's that has stars on it. So again, you could cut it out in a circular pattern, or if you wanted to do a decorative stitch around the edges. I've had this fabric for quite a while, and I use it every few seasons. I'll get it out and make something out of it. And again, I would cut this in a circular pattern. You could cut out from the edges just a little bit and then do your decorative stitching. But I even made coasters out of this. I cut really large circles and made coasters. But this would look really cute on the towels and the pot holders. Now here are some of those strips that I showed you earlier. You could take the strips and put them at the bottom edge of the towel. And I'll have a playlist down below of all my different decorative towels in case you've never done it before. But it's really easy. You just turn all the edges under and then stitch it and then place it at the bottom of the towel, making sure you wrap the edges around the sides. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tip of the week, and I hope I've inspired you to try some of these suggestions that I've given you. Now, the links to everything I talked about is listed below your YouTube screen in the description section. You would just scroll down until you see the words Show More, and then click on it, and that section will expand open and you will see the links. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny and this is Scotty. See you next time.